thank you for inviting us to be here, and I just wanted to let you know that at any time, anywhere, the Georgians or Circassians will be, especially when it's a matter of defending the independence and freedom and democracy of Georgia. It is very important for Circassians to be with Georgians all the time when there is a cause that is important for the Georgian people. Thank you. Why is it important for us to protect and to help the independence of Georgia and the democracy of Georgia?
Yeah.
Georgia is a capital of, Tbilisi is the capital of the Caucasus, and everyone in the Caucasus know that. It's the pride of many Caucasian people to be in Georgia, to be associated with Georgia, and to be in Tbilisi all the time. Georgia showed the world recently in the past few years how much of a country that is defending freedom and democracy and human rights by recognizing the Circassian genocide. And this became a very touching and very important subject for all Circassians. This is a small, gallant nation, the nation of Georgia, with a relatively small population, showed the world that the will and freedom, the will of the Georgian people and the love for freedom is more important than anything else, but only extended its hand to another nation of the Caucasus that is mainly in exile, that is deprived of its freedom, and they showed us that they can help us, and they did help us. Anyone who visited Georgia like I did in the past few years, since 2010 until now, will know for a fact that there was a substantial improvement in every aspect of life. The improvement in buildings, the infrastructures, the government work, the tourism, the hospitality businesses, everything was thriving, and still, I hope, thriving in the country of Georgia, in Tbilisi. And we as Caucasians people, we are very, very proud of this. Circassians, and Circassia is a nation in exile. 90% of our people live outside our homeland. And the only one nation that helped us, that extended the hand for us, to show the world that we need to express our right and to express our desire to be a free people in our free country, was a country from the Caucasus, a brotherly country from the Caucasus, and that is Georgia, who understood the tragedy of Circassians, who understood the inspiration of Circassian, who come from the same culture as we are, and that is the Kafkas culture. And they showed us how it is important for us to be on the world stage and to tell about the tragedy of our nation. Historically, if we go back to the history of the Caucasus, no two nations in the Caucasus ever declared war on each other. No two nations of the Caucasus ever attacked each other. It wasn't until somebody else who is outside the Caucasus stuck his finger in our affairs and created a tragedy and a war for us recently that was absolutely not needed. As long as people who are outside the Caucasus keep their fingers away from us, we can live together peacefully and harmonically without any problems, as we have showed the world for centuries and centuries of the history of the Caucasus. For us, the Circassian genocide, the recognition of the Circassian genocide is a monumental acknowledgement of our relations and brotherly relations with the Georgian people. They have done that with the utmost caring and hospitality as we visited Georgia. Each and every time we were in Tbilisi, we felt we were at home. We felt we were among brothers and families. And I will personally never forget this, and every and each time they are Georgians, I will be there to support them in any cause, especially when it comes to the matter of independence and freedom and democracy of Georgia. The recognition of the Circassian genocide, there are talks today about renouncing and reversing the recognition of the Circassian genocide. This should never happen. The Georgian people, the Circassian people, inside and outside Georgia, should never allow this to happen, because once Georgia, this small, brave nation, recognized the Circassian genocide against all odds, it carved its own place, its own position in the civilized world by recognizing a historical genocide of a free and deprived people. renouncing this would somehow have a very negative and very reverse reactions from the entire world about the freedom and the democracy of the Caucasus nations, and in particular in Georgia. For us, that recognition must be protected all the time in order to protect the gains that Georgia was able to get by recognizing the Circassian genocide. In our view as the Circassian genocide is continuing until today. Our brothers in Georgia, the ones who supported us and continue to support us, they know that this genocide is also continuing until today by virtue of keeping 90% of our nation outside our motherland and attempting to hold the Sochi Olympics on the land where hundreds of thousands of Circassians were slaughtered, and the remains actually are still there. It is for the best interest of all our people of the Caucasus, Circassians, Georgians, and all our nations in the Caucasus, that we continue on the course of seeking independence, freedom, and democracy. And Georgia had given us one example, and we appreciate that, and we will be protecting that as much as we can. And each and every time Georgians are defending their freedom and democracy, Circassians will be standing with them all the time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would like to invite Natalia Kaptarat.